Hey guys, oh my god, I am so excited. I am so excited to be back, y'all. We have a new video for today, and in today's video we are going to be talking about sexual activity and the imbalance it can bring in your energy. So this video is going to be a little bit intuitive, guys, so bear with me, because I like to script my videos and write exactly what I'm going to be talking about. But in this one, it was like this idea came and I was like, okay, let's just do it. And so here we are. So I am really excited about this topic because I've experienced this on so many levels. And the thing is, I wasn't aware that all of these things were happening because I didn't have the information, I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't understand how much energy there is within sexuality and the act of mating in itself. So there is a lot of the things that I did before I was celibate, when I was young, wild and free and baby. These things were things that, oh my god, I created energetic bonds and connections with people that was truly unhealthy for me. And of course I wasn't aware of it. I felt it. I think that because of that was the main thing that inspired me to become celibate, because I was so confused. It was a time in my life where I was having a lot of relationships, and I was working, life was really good. I was traveling abroad and whatever. I had I had my sugar daddies, girl, because your girl done that, she did that, and it was good. But within me, I felt confused. I didn't know who I was. I felt so lost. It was really such a weird experience. And after a few weeks of being so much in that feeling so much not myself, this whole idea of becoming celibate came to me. And I didn't know the word celibate at the time. I just knew it as you have to abstain from sex. That was the message. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna abstain, I'm gonna do this because I am ready for something different. And honey, just when you're about to just when you're about to elevate, to take that leap, it's like the devil pops around and tests you. And I had this major testing moment, which I didn't even realize that it was a test until a few days ago, that I had the realization. I was like, oh my god, this is what was happening, because I was experiencing all this energy, all these seeds were in my garden. Let me just jump into this video immediately, because girl, I already started. So let me just go back to say this part, and then I'll continue with the seeds and the garden thing, because I'm gonna use the garden as a metaphor for this story time. So guys, the power of mating is a very powerful energetic connection. It is not only an energetic connection, but it is a powerful act in itself, because it is the power of creation, especially within humans. Like, mating is how we create babies and how we create other human beings and how the world evolves, right? So it is something that within people, animal, it exists. But within this power, there is also a lot of energy that takes place. And there is an energetic, there is a, like, of course, a physical aspect of it, which is, you know, the word. And then there is also an energetical and emotional, mental binding. And that is something that I did not understand back then about intimacy. So as a woman, we are the receiver, we are the garden, we are the water, we are the earth. And in order for the earth to rotate and continue its being in flow, it needs a container, it needs a structure, it needs something to hold it, which is the universe, the sun, the seed. That is like a representation of the masculine. If women are the garden and men are the seed, then you already know there is multiple variation of seeds. You have good seeds, you have weak seeds, you have strong seeds, and in between. So there is many different types of seeds, and each of these type of seeds represent a lifestyle, a habit, and each of them has a shadow side, a dark side. So a lot of the times, before that seed truly grows and becomes this plant or bloom, it goes through this process of preparing. And you can view this process as men from the age of like 15 till they're 30 or 40. You can say till they're 20, but 30, yeah, no, 30 years. And within this process, they are like actually building, they're creating, they're discovering who they are working on themselves, they are educating, doing whatever it is required for the masculine to fully become the plant. So as a woman, we are the gardens, right? So we are the receiver. And each time that you're mating with someone, you are letting them plant a seed in your garden. And whatever lifestyle choice, habit, mindset, things that these persons are doing, the energy that they embody, you are going to be opening up yourself and receiving this energy. Now, maybe you, as a woman, you can also alchemize the energy that you receive, but let's say for the sake of this video, you're not fully aware of that yet. And each time the seed is being planted, and it starts growing in your garden. So what happens is that a lot of the times when these things start to happen, let's say that you're in a relationship with a guy, you've been together, I don't know, I think 3 to 6 months, or you've been mating with this person frequently, and when they have this shadow side which you don't know about, and each time that you have physical intimacy with them, a few days later or a few weeks later, you start feeling depressed, you start feeling angry, you start feeling down. What is that? That is the result of them planting their seed in your garden. And this is an experience that happened with me. I was having this relationship with this guy for almost like three years, but it was a very on and off relationship, because you guys know I've talked about recycling my men back then, before I was celibate girl. Yeah, and I had this roster, so a few months I was with him, a few months I wasn't. But the times that I was with him, he was like drinking and going through this very dark phase in his life. And I wasn't very much aware of it, because of course he came back and went away, and came back and went away, so I didn't care to keep up with specifically what is going on in his life. But later on, a few weeks of being with him, I started like having these whispers of negative energy. Like, I was someone that I would wake up and feel very good, and I would go and do the things that I really love. This is when I was a virtual merchandise, and I was having so much fun, and I was just happy with the phase that I was in my life at that time. And I started, you know, going out with him, whatever. And a few weeks later, I was just feeling so down, so low. I was just feeling really bad, and I didn't understand why I was feeling this bad. And I tried doing things to make me feel good. And the thing is, I didn't notice that it was because of that relationship. Because like, let's say I would be active with him today, a week later I would start feeling that energy. So it wouldn't happen instantly. And so a lot of the times I couldn't like pinpoint where was this coming from. And that was one of the first experiences that I actually had with feeling like I was dealing with things, dealing with shadows that were not my shadows. But it was because I was mating with this person, I was sleeping with him, and he was planting his negative seeds in my garden. And that was one of the results of sexual energy imbalance. Because of that activity that I was having with him, it totally imbalanced me. And then a few months I stopped being with him, and it was like I stopped feeling like that. I stopped feeling low, I stopped feeling down, I stopped feeling, I was just feeling really, really bad. And it was so crazy, because I remember him also going through this, and he was like talking about, like, he wasn't talking a lot, but he was talking about like he's going through some difficult times, whatever. And I didn't care to like ask him more deeply, but it was just because of the energy that he was carrying and going through and holding in that time. And of course I was also receiving that energy. So that is one of the first experiences from one of my rosters. You already know, girl. I have another one, but I'm not ready to talk about it because that was just on a whole nother level. So with this, I want to say that a lot of the times, right when you're in that journey to like level up or become that version of yourself or step into that door, it's like the devil comes in disguise. Because 3 weeks before I truly decided within me to start my celibacy journey, of course I was having all this relationship with these men, so I had to like block them and start removing them from my life. And I went to the gym and I met this guy, and he was like 30-year-old guy, and he was very handsome and he looked very young. And we were talking just one day at the gym, and we flirted, nothing serious. So later on, I encountered him at the corner of the street where I lived in, and he stepped out of the car and we started talking, blah blah blah. And I was in my gym outfit, because I was just, if I wasn't working, I was wearing gym wear, like that was the attire. So he started talking to me, and he actually wanted to have intimacy with me, and he declared that he really liked me, whatever, and he really wanted this. And I was like, something within me was like, no, don't do anything. And I was like, I don't know, because I'm moving abroad, I'm going away, so I'm like, I'm not interested to do this. And he was like, it will be like your last experience here, you know, the last person that you have relations with on the island, blah blah blah. He was like trying to convince me. And you know, he wasn't trying to convince me, like force me. He was trying to convince me in a very subtle way. And I was like, no, yada yada yada. And then one time he just finished a workout and he was so excited, and he was texting me. And then because I live nearby the gym, so he, okay, sorry guys, I had to switch up my battery. But yeah, he pulled up at my place outside in the car. He stayed outside, like, honey, nobody was entering this house, period. And I went outside, and he was dead ass trying to convince me. He was so excited because he just came off the gym, whatever, and he was like, yeah, he really wants me, he really desires me. Like, he was telling me all these things, trying to convince me, or for me to say, okay, yes, let's do it. Because I was also like, I was not telling him no, but I wasn't telling him yes either. So I was just like playing with him, but at the same time there was something in me that was just like, no. And that day that he pulled up, I will never forget. He pulled up in that fucking red car. I don't even remember what brand it was. I think it was Hyundai or something. And he pulled up, he was trying to convince me, and you know what this man did? He pulled his dingy out on me. And I was like, I remember I saw it and I got so turned off. I was like, oh my god, like, he really wanted this bad. And I was like, no, this is not gonna work out. Like, I remember I just said that. I was so disappointed. 5 seconds within that moment, I got out of the car and I just went back inside. And that was the day the download came to me to abstain from sex. Truly, like, that experience, because before meeting him, that was 3 weeks. That week was the last week. 3 weeks before I met him. On the second week, he was trying to convince me. First week, I met him in the gym. On the second week, he was trying to convince me. On the third week, he pulled at my place and did what I just told y'all. And by that day, I was like, no, I'm gonna do this, God. I am ready to do this. I will be abstinent, because this is not it for me. I think that was the moment where I had to level up and become celibate. And it was just like that, the leap, you know, that one step that you need to, when you have one foot out and one foot in, and then you need to bring the other foot in to be like fully in. It was that moment. And he was the devil. He came in disguise. Because you know what was crazy to me? I already had relationships. So if I really wanted, like, I would just call one of my rosters. Like, it was that easy. He came out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. Just when I was already deleting and blocking all of my rosters, because I was like, girl, I'm about to be celibate. I need to remove these distractions. And I met him. And girl, that was the day. And I think that was a sign also for me, because the energy that I was receiving from him was very heavy. It was very negative. And a few like during, I told some, no, a few weeks later, I heard from someone that he was actually in prison for years. And you know, he has 2 kids and it's abusive, and it was so crazy, all the things that I heard. And I was like, oh my god, like God truly graced me, like, because that feeling that stopped me was literally the sign. So that was one of the another experience of like when you're just about to start your journey within celibacy, even if it's just for a few weeks or a few days, you will have these like you will have the devil come and trying to trick you, and you have to like that is you have to know why you're doing this, and you have to trust yourself and trust your intuition and trust that you feel this way and it's in your favor, period. There's no way around it. So, and later on, I have a few friends of mine that also they were sharing with me very intimate stories about having relationships with their men, and like crying afterwards or feeling so tired after the act. And I remember I was telling them that that is not a good sign, that and I remember I told her like to take a salt bath after to see if that helps, because she was really feeling down. And little that I knew that years later when I started studying and I was like I became celibate and I was educating myself more within this topic, I learned that that was actually again the beginning of the story. She is the garden and he was implanting his negative seeds within her, and that is why she was crying and feeling so tired. Like she would be tired for like 2-3 days. Like I would call her and she would be sleeping, and I would always say it's so crazy that you started this relationship with this guy and before him you had all this energy, and now you're just constantly tired, you just want to sleep, you don't want to do anything. Like, what is happening here? And that was one of the results of mating with someone and having this person planting their seed within them. And it's not only about the person or mating, it's about who you choose to have relationships with. Like, is this person a healthy person? Is this person what type of habits do they have? What is their mindset? Do they take care of themselves? How do they eat? How do they take care of themselves? Do they go check themselves for STD and all these things? You know, like these are things that you have to notice within the person that you're having a relationship with, because all of these things some way or somehow are gonna affect you as a woman energetically, especially if you're having intimate relationship with these men. I have another example for you. Whew, girl, I have actually lots of examples, but this is the last one that I will be sharing. And she was like this girl, she was a natural, thick, beautiful girl. And the only problem is she liked hood men. And you know, I'm not here to judge, because there are a lot of good hood men, honestly, but she was once with this specific person and he was also from the hood. This is the first guy that, since I've known her, she was with. And I remember when she started her relationship with this guy was picking her up, driving her to school. He was like working and also going to school. She was only going to school. And he came from a good family, even though he was from the hood. And I don't know, their relationship was so good. They started going to the church together. It was amazing, you know, amazing. For some reason they broke up, whatever. Months later or years later, I don't remember, she started a relationship with another guy. this was also someone from the hood. However, this person, he was doing certain things and he had this habit, and I don't know, he always seemed someone so fake to me. Like, of course, when he's around the ladies, he's like completely different, but when he's around the guys, he's another person. So I always found that very weird. When this girl started this relationship with this guy, remember, she was always naturally thick. She went to the gym and she was very active in sports at school. When she started this relationship with this guy, 3 to 4 months in, she became fat. Like, she went from natural thick to fat. And it was so crazy because she didn't change her diet. She was still working out, she was still active at school, and she became fat. It was like it was the craziest thing for me, because the only difference that happened within those 3 months that she changed so drastically was the relationship. And not only that she became fat, she started having really bad acne, and she never suffered with acne. Like, they have like mixed skin, so her sister does have a little acne, but it wasn't that bad. It was just like when around that time of the month, you know, like that. But she was just starting having acne like constantly. And within like 6 months of their relationship, they broke up. And when they broke up, like 9 or maybe 6 months, maybe 3 months space, I don't even remember, her skin became clear and she lost all the weight that she had gained when she was with this man. And it was one of the craziest things for me to ever experience, seeing her go from the transition of being with this hot guy that was like good for her, and then seeing her being with this guy that maybe he was good for her because he did help her and whatever, but on an energetic level he wasn't good for her. She started slacking at school. Like, she would always have like 8 and 9s, and when she was with this guy, when she was with this guy, she had like 7 and 6. Like, she was just passing by. It was so crazy. It was so crazy. And then later on, because we had a moment that we separated when she started having a relationship with this guy, because I was like, no girl, I'm not feeling this energy. And we had like a distant moment, and then when they broke up and it was over, a few months later, we started like clicking and connecting back together. And she was telling me that she was feeling so depressed and so unhappy, and that he was constantly bullying him, that he was constantly bullying her because of her weight, and she felt so depressed because she couldn't lose the weight, so she tried to not to eat. And it was so crazy when she told me all of these things, because I was 100% convinced that it was because of the relationship. It was because of the seed, the energy that he was carrying. He was carrying this very negative, dark energy. And because of that, as a woman within mating, a result of that, he planted all his seeds in her garden, and the result was her diet and how she was feeling. And she couldn't say anything to anyone, because I guess she didn't want to, or felt some type of way, I don't know, but she admitted all these things to me. And I was like, oh my god. I told her so how happy I was that she was out of that relationship, and you know, that he was no good for her. And she was like, yeah, why didn't you tell me that? But when she was in it. She was so in love. Of course I'm not gonna tell you when you're in it, because girl, you're not gonna listen to me. So, you know, she had to go through her own experience, but I saw that. I saw how that sexual energy brought imbalance in her life, and it just disrupted her life, just like these other stories that I gave you guys. These are all from, these are different story, but it all came down to the person that they were mating with. And I don't want to say intimacy is bad, because baby, I'm all about intimacy. Like, I am all about the pleasures of the world, especially that one. I love X. I love everything about it. I feel like it's the most pleasurable, indulging, beautiful experience as humans. Like, it's delicious. But it is very important for you to be aware who you choose to have these type of moments with. And not only that, but also to abstain healthily. Like, you know, it's good to take a break for like a week or two, especially if you're in a long-term relationship. Just try it. Take a break for like a week or two, and use that time to build that chemistry up, to build that tension up, so when you do decide to break the celibacy and do the act, it feels so good and more, it's just more beautiful. Now, I'm not a, you know, I'm not someone who I can like, I'm not a sexual advisor, but I think it's abstaining from any area in life is healthy. And yeah guys, this was my video, so I really wanted to share that with you all, because this is an experience that I have personally dealt with 3 different men, and I even created a crazy energetic bond, which I will be sharing with you guys in another time, because it is really TMI. But if you're interested and want to know how I created this discipline and how I opened my eyes to these energetic bonds and could break them, was through my celibacy journey. And thanks to this wonderful book, Initiation of a Goddess, this book really helped me to journal and find out what was the root cause, what was the problem, what was the result, and learn about these things. And not only this book in the regards of journaling, but also resources. I did so much research on intimacy and the energetics of it, and I can't wait to share all of the beautiful things that I have accumulated until now with you guys in a next video. So stay tuned, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.